Look what they've done to me. They've taken away my life. I haven't been home to see.
Tonight, frustration and desperation from a local veteran who was fighting tooth and nail to regain his identity after his bank declared him dead. Thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Myers. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you and getting to the bottom of problems you've asked about, and we are looking for solutions. CBS 8 Shannon Handy met with this veteran to see if we can help. She shows us how the bank is responding after our calls.
This whole saga started back in 2019. The man who wants to remain anonymous says Bank of America declared him dead, which had a domino effect. 5 years later, he's still fighting to get his money and his identity back.
If they say you're dead and they send out that information, you're dead, you're cut off. I'm cut off from life.
At 61 years old, this disabled Navy veteran envisioned having a peaceful retirement life. Instead, he says the past 5 years have been a living nightmare, all because of his mistaken death.
I can't get a car, I can't get a loan, I can't open up any other accounts, I can't buy a house, I can't do anything.
In 2019, he was living in Mexico while recovering from cancer surgery when he claims his Bank of America ATM card suddenly stopped working.
And I called B of A, and they transferred me to one person who asked me a lot of questions, and then they transferred me to someone else, and the questions became more personal. And I said, what is going on? And she says, we received a phone call that you're deceased, and almost fainted.
He tells me the person on the phone told him his son had called the bank. He doesn't have a son, yet it was reportedly enough to block his accounts.
This is the bank. I mean, who declares people dead without a death certificate?
After a lot of back and forth, he thought the issue had been resolved.
These are 3 of the letters.
In one letter he showed me, dated in January of 2019, Bank of America apologized and assured him the mistake had been corrected. Yet days later, their estate department reached out to his so-called estate requesting a death certificate.
There's approximately 12,000 people inaccurately reported as deceased every year.
David Shammy is the managing partner with Consumer Attorneys PLC. While he did not work on this case, I asked him who's to blame when these things happen. He says sometimes it's human error or revenge when someone reports your death knowing it could ruin your life. Something it's not, identity fraud.
There's no benefit in telling the bank that someone is dead if you're trying to steal their identity. If you're trying to steal their identity, you don't want them dead because then their credit will get shut down.
Shammy says if this happens to you, contact the Social Security Administration as well as an attorney. The man in this story did both, and last year reached an agreement with B of A to get his accounts back, which he says contain an estimated $8,000. This has yet to happen, so I reached out to B of A. A spokesperson said in part, we promptly corrected the error and we resolved adverse credit reporting to the 4 credit reporting bureaus as promised. I emailed back asking if they plan to follow up, which they say they will. I'll check back to make sure. Working for you,
I want to be made whole.
I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Wow. Tonight, 4 recent San Diego State grads are underwater after getting their first water bill in more than a year, totaling $16,000. CBS 8's Jenny Day sat down with the roommates and is working to get answers.
Previous September and then go to this
and January.
This first one right here in January of 23. This said we used 400,000 gallons in 2 months.
The women who live here just graduated from SDSU. Isabella, Bella, Mariah, and Lyric. All of their hopes and dreams in front of them, except now they have a water bill hanging over their heads, basically the size of a student loan.
I swore it said 1,600 and I was like, well, that's a gut punch, but it makes sense for the past 16 months. And then I zoomed in on it and I was like, oh, there's an extra digit there. It's 16,000. What are we gonna do?
The first 2 months they lived here, the bill was under $200. Then it spiked to $670, but went back down. They tell me then the bill stopped coming altogether.
Would go into my account, check. It would always say a balance of 0. I'd say no pay period, nothing, no bill at this time.
The last bill they did receive was in December 2022. Nearly a year later, an email came from the water district saying their bill had been flagged for abnormal use and to sit tight. Another 6 months passed with no word, and then they were sent this one.
We're all just like we're just in shock, confused, and we knew like there was no possible way we used that much water.
It shows at one point they were using 6,000 gallons of water a day. The average household is about 10,000 gallons every 2 months.
Because we actually had a maintenance man come out to the house a few days ago, and he did not find a leak anywhere.
We checked the meter too, and with all of the water off in the house, no signs of a leak. They say they don't even use the sprinklers, the pool is routinely serviced, and their showers are under 10 minutes.
It's been very hard to navigate as we're graduating and beginning to move out of this house, to have this on top of that. It's been a real worry and a real concern. So I'm just hoping we can get it figured out.
The City of San Diego's Public Utilities Department tells me the reads for this house are accurate, and they will submit a review for it to be adjusted. As of March, though, there's a backlog of more than 20,000 other customers whose bills are being withheld.
So the city told Jenny that it will take 6 to 8 weeks until we learn what these young women will actually have to pay. If by chance you find yourself in a similar situation, the city tells us there will not be any late fees and your water will stay on until they can get your bill figured out. We should mention, though, that the water department was audited 5 years ago, and they say they've been trying to make improvements to the system since then. Our next story takes us now to Petco Park. Padres fans and people living around the ballpark say the city needs to do more when it comes to keeping an important set of elevators operational and clean. CBSA's Steve Price is working for you to get answers.
Be glad you cannot smell the inside of this elevator. The stench of urine is overwhelming. In fact, even outside the elevator, you can smell it if you're just walking by. And urine isn't the only problem they have here. It's hard to tell exactly what this is on the floor or what happened here on the wall. We decided to check out the elevators on the Petco Park side of the Harbor Drive pedestrian bridge Thursday after a viewer sent us a picture of feces on the floor.
It's a mess in there.
John Billings has lived in the area for 6 years and says it's not uncommon to see unhoused people sleeping in these elevators, which he avoids at all cost.
I have a mother-in-law that can't take the stairs, and so instead of taking the elevator, we just walk and cross down at the light and go by the convention center instead, because I'm not getting in there.
There is a second elevator here, but it's broken. So it's this elevator or nothing.
It doesn't feel safe, nor is it clean or comfortable.
This is not a new problem. Working for You, CBS 8 first highlighted the elevator issues in 2018 when both elevators were broken for an extended period of time, forcing folks to carry strollers down the stairs and bikes too. After our story aired, the city fixed both elevators. 2 years later, we came back for a follow-up and found needles just a few feet from the doors, a mysterious substance on the floor, trash stuck to the window, and a horrible stench inside. And when we notified the city, they immediately sent a contracted crew to the site to clean things up. So, working for You, we reached out to the city again this time. In a statement, they acknowledged the broken elevator, saying this elevator will require significant repairs, and the city is in the process of procuring a contract for these repairs. This work is expected to be completed by the end of July. On the issues of cleanliness, they added the city has a vendor under contract for regular cleanings of the elevators and adjacent areas. Due to the often occurring issues that require enhanced sanitation in the area, the city is considering options for additional cleaning and sanitation services. Unfortunately, people living in the area fear even if everything is fixed and cleaned, it probably won't last long.
They can't dedicate somebody to stand here all day long. I get that, so I really don't know the answer.
Working for You, Steve Price, CBS 8.
These are not changes that we're excited about.
Tonight, more insurance changes are underway, this time impacting earthquake policies. CBSA's Shannon Handy is working for You to explain the changes and the reasons behind them.
The California Earthquake Authority, which provides the majority of earthquake insurance in California, is sending out letters letting its customers know essentially the amount of coverage for your personal belongings is going down, while in many cases, deductibles are going up.
California is no stranger to earthquakes. Yet despite their likelihood here, earthquake insurance isn't required, and only about 10% of residents actually have it. If you're one of them, chances are your policy is with the California Earthquake Authority. They've been sending letters to customers letting them know about a series of policy changes. I read through them, and here's what you need to know. Instead of covering $200,000 worth of personal property, all policies will now only cover up to $25,000. Plus, if your home was built before 1980 and isn't retrofitted, or if your home is worth more than $1 million, you no longer have the option of paying a 5 or 10% deductible. The minimum has jumped to 15%. The changes went into effect last August for new policies and last November for policy renewals.
California Earthquake Authority is trying to keep their books balanced.
Amy Bach is the executive director of United Policyholders, a nonprofit that specializes in the insurance industry. I asked her why policies are changing.
They ran into the same problem that regular insurance companies are having, which is that the reinsurance that they have to buy for the really high dollar risk is gotten very expensive.
I reached out to the CEA. They cite high levels of inflation and rising construction costs as factors as well, adding, quote, changing our insurance policy options will help offset unprecedented significant premium increases for CEA policyholders in the future, keeping earthquake insurance more affordable for Californians. Estimates vary, but on average, Californians pay $739 a year for earthquake insurance. Bach fears while the recent policy changes are intended to keep premiums down, she anticipates they will go up. Prior to the 1994 Northridge quake, people's homeowners insurance policies could have earthquake coverage attached to it, but companies pulled out because of the costs. She'd like to see that system return, saying we need more options for added protection.
We're going to have to come up with some alternative sources of that kind of catastrophic risk protection, because it's just not healthy economically to have this many homes be vulnerable to economic ruin.
Working for you, I'm Shanna Handy for CBS 8.
Still ahead, the decision-making process for updating parks. We will take you to Mount Hope, where people say something needs to be done about their local park. Then later on, claims that customers are not getting what they pay for. We head over to a local 7-Eleven and put their cups to the test.
For us to not have these things in this community, the resources in this community for our children, it's a slap in the face.
In San Diego's Mount Hope neighborhood, people are pushing the city to stop dragging its feet and revamp the neighborhood's only park. CBS 8 Shannon Handy is working for you on this story. She started digging into city documents and spoke with some people who are familiar with this park.
I'm here at Dennis V. Allen Neighborhood Park. People around here tell me they have been promised improvements, including a new rec center, for years, but not much has changed.
This is our home.
Charles Alexander is proud to have grown up in Mount Hope, but can't say the same about Dennis V. Allen Neighborhood Park.
This is the only park without a gym or recreation. We don't have no arts and crafts. We don't have nothing.
Alexander is one of several people in the area calling on the city to make changes here. He's part of the Mount Hope Neighborhood Board. Last week, another member, Juan Cruz, spoke out at the city's Budget Review Committee hearing.
We need help. I've sent you an email, you.
Asking council members to allocate funds the same way they do for neighborhoods elsewhere.
We need equity. We need to be like everybody else. We need to be like the cities up north, past the 8. We need to have those things. We need that for our kids. For my kids' kids.
Cruz showed me a picture of the 5-acre park taken back in 1987.
This is the playground?
Saying it looks relatively the same. Last year, the park did get a new play structure after the last one was destroyed in a fire. The city also installed a nature exploration area. But neighbors I spoke to say it's hardly used and has already been vandalized. They also pointed out a growing homeless encampment as well as rundown bathrooms.
We don't feel like we're being ignored. We are being ignored.
You see all these other neighborhoods getting all these wonderful things, YMCAs, stuff to bring the community together. We aren't getting any of that.
I did some digging and found a general development plan is in the works but is yet to be approved. On the city's website, it lists things like a new recreation center, dog park, and ball field. I reached out to the city to find out more details. A spokesperson told me in part the GDP process is on schedule to be completed this fall, adding in part, city staff are currently coordinating outreach events with the community to get input for the GDP amendment. Those community meetings are expected to take place this summer. The current project to amend the GDP for Dennis V. Allen Park has $750,000 allocated, none of which are grant funds. After completing the GDP process, city staff will seek additional funding based on what improvements are feasible to implement before moving forward with design and construction. At this point, no timeline is set. For people around here, those improvements can't come soon enough.
Please, for God's sakes, for our sake, give us a rec center. We need it.
Working for you, I'm Shanna Handy for CBS 8.
Shannon, thanks. Coming up next, when a large coffee might not be as large as you expected. We test claims that they say cups are shrinking at 7-Eleven. On top of prices going up, you may not be getting what you think you're paying for. A CBS 8 viewer believes 7-Eleven's extra large coffee cup holds less than you might think by looking at it. CBS 8's Anna Laurel is working for you to see if the coffee cups are measuring up.
This is the cup a viewer asked us about. I just went inside and got one. There are no signs inside that tell you, and this cup will not say exactly how much fits in this cup. I did find sizing on the company's website, so we put it to the test.
How much liquid are you actually getting in your 7-Eleven coffee cup? CBS 8 viewer Arturo says 7-Eleven extra large coffee cups are not as deep as they seem from the outside. He wrote to CBS 8 and says there's now about 3/4 of an inch gap from the bottom of the actual cup that's hollow. It also doesn't say how many ounces the cup is anymore.
Why do you think this makes consumers so mad?
No one likes to get cheated. And, if you pay for a pound, you want a pound. If you pay for a quart, you want a quart.
I reached out to Edgar Dworsky. He's with consumerworld.org. He's tracked consumer prices and sizes for decades. He tells me companies shrink products rather than charge you more because consumers pay more attention to price than size.
Consumers are not net weight conscious. They don't check the size of the package or box before they buy, so they might get away with a more sneaky price increase, giving you less for the same money.
According to the 7-Eleven website, their 4 sizes of coffee cups are 12 ounces, 16 fluid ounces, 20, and 24 ounces. So what we did is we got a corresponding fluid ounce of a drink. This is a 24 ounce. And again, going all the way down. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour these drinks into these cups and see if they really measure up. Okay, so here's the 12 ounce. Okay, pretty good, 7-Eleven. Whoa, hope you like your coffee black. I mean, that is right there at it. So as you can see, this 24-ounce drink that we poured into this extra large 7-Eleven cup, it would not fit, spilling over.
I reached out to 7-Eleven to find out if they recently changed cups or sizing. They have not gotten back to me. Working for you in San Diego, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Yeah, more to come on that story. Anna, thanks for the demonstration, too. Well, that's going to do it for us. Remember, if there's something you would like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. We'll see you next time.